Welcome to All Things Social Security. Enjoy your video. Morning. It is Sunday, January 18th. Can you believe we're already halfway through the first month of 2026? This is Sunday, so it's Sunday Social Security Roundup for the past week of which videos came out during the day. So let's hop to it. We had January 12th, which my little notes here say, yeah, this is a little ditty for representative payees. And the fact that no, you best not collect a fee for being the representative payee of one of your loved ones. Not good. If you're doing it, I suggest you stop because you could find yourself in a little bind there. It is not permitted, period. If you're an institutional representative payee that has already been approved by the SSA to be a company that does this, then that's a different story. And I'm sure you have to have a lot of requirements. I wouldn't be surprised if you had to have liability insurance, maybe bonding, I don't know, but certainly something because, when we have other people's money, it can be tempting for some people to, get sticky fingers with it. So they just want to make sure everything is kosher with that regard. It's funny because I look at you guys can't see this. I think they give a percentage of likes versus, I guess it's not really versus not, but when it's not 100%, I mean, YouTube kind of already knows that. But when I saw the number, I'm like, I wonder if a lot of people are actually charging their brother or their grandpa or their child for the chore of holding their money and paying the bills. I don't know, but guys, you can't do it. So if you don't want to be a representative payee unless you get paid, I suggest you have the SSA pick them one of the SSA representative payees so you don't get yourself in trouble. But it's funny how I see there's I also know that there's some trolls that go around and click dislike on things just to try to screw up with people's numbers. YouTube also knows that they do this, so it's not really a big deal, but I just thought it was kind of funny. All right, the next day, that would be Tuesday, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I just skipped a day. Tuesday the 13th was, oh yeah, this was the full video of the strategy benefits of a composite job for winning your claim. I'm probably that was a three-parter that I merged into one for people who like to watch it all at once. Something that's really overlooked a lot. And I'm going to be doing more delving into more strategies with regard to it to make sure that an ALJ is not, or, an underling is not refraining from categorizing as a composite job when he should be, because it does complicate things on their side. And I'd like to know, I kind of like to know some of the policies within the unspoken policies, if they're supposed to avoid them, if at all, if they can, when they can't. I don't know if I'll actually find the verbiage on this because I don't actually publish a lot of this stuff. A lot of the stuff we know is from experience, and some of the best information you get is anecdotally from other representatives and lawyers. So I know people always say, oh, it's anecdotal, it doesn't count. Really? That's how the world used to always fly, a few hundred years ago, including medicine. So everything starts anecdotally, but sometimes that's all you've got. So you could, when you know how to weed out falseness, it's not too bad. So January 14th was a different one. So that would be Wednesday. Oh, it was in response to a question. Can a 6-year-old get a CDR? Would a 60-year-old get a CDR? And in that one, I brought up the example of how prosthetics went from being severely disabling or pre-prosthetics or early prosthetics to now people with a prosthetic and an amputated leg, for instance, may very well get CDR'd and be improved and be found able to go to work. Although I will say that most amputees I know want to go back to work. They want that prosthetic to work, and they're not trying to be on SSD for longer than they should be. So, okay, the 15th, this was the replay. Oh, because Wednesday we had our 1 p.m. live stream Q&A, all things Social Security, that we have every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please be there and join next time for any of your questions on Social Security. That came out. We did that Wednesday live, and then Thursday, we had the replay. So that, yeah. That came out Thursday. The old original is still up there too. The one that's got all the, you know, pauses and scrollings and things like that. That's also available. And I think it's up in the live section or something. But we like to do the replay so that all the good 30, sometimes more minutes is carved out of it. That would be kind of lag time. So that people watching the replay don't have to sit through that. I just think it's worse when you're sitting through a replay to have to watch that. Friday for a law review. Oops. It looks like it never went out. And I'm looking at it, but I don't think it went out. You will put that out Monday. Sorry about that. Or maybe skip it to next Friday. I'll tell you what it's about, though. An Ohio couple, Bonnie and Clyde, if you will. It included fake disability and defrauding welfare housing. Gee, imagine that. As well as Social Security disability from lots of monies. So that's in Ohio. And then Saturday the 17th was a little ditty about consultative examination. And when your consultative examiner asks you if they do, they're not all going to do this. Some will just try to test you on it. Ask you if you suffer from weakness. You might want to know in advance what that is. So if that happens, you can answer accurately. You might not recognize something as weakness that could very well be weakness. I say that they might not ask you, but if they say, so, you know, what happens? What's wrong? Definitely bring up weakness. If it's true. And it would therefore be in all those records that the CE examiner isn't going to see. And the reason why I suggest that is because a lot of times denial letters will say, we see that you have impairments that are, you know, significant, but you can move your limbs about. Woohoo. And I hang out with the birds too much. You don't have weakness. Now they're saying that because they don't see it in the record. So maybe you don't have it in your record. But if you do have musculoskeletal issues, leg, back, make sure to figure out whether you feel that you have weak legs, and then have your doctor, not only would you mention it to the consultative examiner, he says, so what are your symptoms? I would throw in the word weakness if you have it, because it is a word that they will say, you don't seem to have significant weakness in the denial letter, that canned letter. So it's definitely a canned blurb that they shoot out when they think they can do that. So you might be able to add a crumb in the opposite direction by doing that. And think of all the kinds of words you might attribute to how your legs are it's usually your legs. Sometimes it's your arms or your hands. That might mean the same thing. Fatigue. Is it the same? It might not be exactly the same, but it seems reasonable that there might be a little interplay there. So just give it some thought before you go. And also, separately and aside, if that does happen to you and you do suffer that, be sure to tell your doctors, because then you might get the tests that will show that there's a little something. If nothing else, you've got your historical complaints throughout the record of how you get weakness after very little activity, perhaps. Maybe your legs feel a little, and you got to go rest them to get that, I don't know, mitochondria in there backing up. I don't know. Anywho, so that was our week, guys. It's been super, super busy. We're kind of in hearing mode for the next couple months. So we're just trying to keep it all together. I look forward to hopefully seeing as many of you as possible on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Otherwise, please come back and visit the 12 o'clock regular recorded videos that come out every day. And I hope you have a great week. Have a great Sunday. Finish it up, and a safe and healthy rest of your week. God bless.